All right, let's get right into it. We're going to break down an incredibly powerful mental model, one that's designed for those high-stakes, high-pressure situations where your emotions are boiling over and one bad move could cost you. This is called the anchor protocol.
And what you're looking at right here, this is the single biggest difference between an amateur and a pro. On the left, you've got the amateur. Something happens, and boom, an instant reaction. It's pure animal instinct. But on the right, that's the professional. Something happens, but they insert one crucial step, a pause. And in that tiny little gap between stimulus and response, that's where they make a choice. That little space, that's where all the magic, all the power really lies.
And let's be really clear about the stakes here. It doesn't matter if you're talking about the stock market, a tense negotiation, or just a tough conversation with someone you care about. Your impulsive reactions are costing you. The world, the market, they do not reward knee-jerk responses, but they pay an absolute fortune for cool, calculated composure.
So the big question is, how do we actually build that capacity? How do we learn to choose our response instead of just letting it fly? Well, it all starts by completely redefining a concept most of us think we already understand.
Okay, first things first, forget about your age. Maturity has absolutely nothing to do with how many candles were on your last birthday cake. Real maturity, it's the size of that space you can create between what happens to you and how you respond to it. The bigger that space gets, the more mature, and frankly, the more powerful you become.
And this quote just brilliantly nails the mindset shift we have to make. You see, when a crisis hits, the amateur sees a roadblock, right? An attack. But the master sees a lesson, an instruction. They understand that these challenges aren't here to stop us. They're here to teach us something.
So this is a huge one. Your feelings, they are just information. They're data points. That feeling of anger, it doesn't mean you must yell. That spike of fear, it doesn't mean you must run. Think of them as signals coming from your body, but you are the one sitting in the control tower. You get to decide what to do with that data. You know what? Let's actually try that right now, just for a second. Take a breath and just feel that space, that silence. See, most people can't stand this. They rush to fill it with noise, with justifications, with excuses. But learning to just sit in that gap, even for 3 seconds, that is a genuine superpower.
So let's move on to the practical tool, the how-to. This is what you can actually use when chaos hits, when your mind is just screaming at you to react. It's a super simple, 2-step system to reclaim control. We call it the anchor protocol, and it's so easy. First, you anchor yourself in your body. That's the physical grounding. Second, you anchor yourself in reality using the gift of language. This whole 2-step process is designed to override that primitive animal brain and bring your logical, higher-level thinking back online.
Now, step 1 is absolutely critical. You can't think your way out of a powerful feeling. You have to act your way out of it. So when that pressure hits, use a physical anchor. You take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. You press your thumb and your index finger together, hard. You consciously drop your shoulders away from your ears. You unclench your jaw. Each one of these tiny actions sends a powerful signal to your nervous system that says, hey, I am safe. I am in control.
Then comes step 2, mastering your language. Why? Because the words you use literally create the reality you live in. If you tell yourself this is a disaster, your brain just floods with stress hormones. But if you reframe that to this is a challenge, you actually get a hit of dopamine. Suddenly, you're not running from a threat, you're solving a puzzle.
And just look at the subtle but incredibly powerful separation this creates. When you say, I am furious, you've literally fused your identity with that emotion. It owns you now. But when you say, I am experiencing anger, you've reframed it. It's just a temporary weather pattern passing through. And all of a sudden, you're not the storm, you're the observer of the storm. And that tiny shift, it gives you all the power back.
Okay, so you've paused, you've grounded yourself physically and with your language. So now what? Well, before you act, before you say or do anything, you need to run your potential response through one final, ultimate test. This is the question. Right before you hit send on that angry email, before you make that impulsive decision, you have to stop and ask yourself, does this action serve the person I am trying to become? Will the future me, 5 years from now, thank me for this? And if the answer is no, you don't do it. Period.
See, discipline isn't about punishment or deprivation. It's much simpler than that. It's just remembering what you truly want in the long run. Don't you dare sacrifice your 5-year vision for 5 seconds of emotional satisfaction. Your job is to protect your future from your present.
So after we've paused, anchored, and filtered our response, we get to the final, and honestly the most important truth in this entire system. It all comes back to one very simple thing.
Look, trends will change. The economy is going to go up and down. People will come and go from your life. The only constant, the only variable you have any real control over, is your own internal state. Your mastery over that space between stimulus and response. That is the ultimate key to unlocking any future you want. So, the final thought I really want to leave you with is this. The tool is now yours. You have the protocol to pause, to choose your response, and to act in a way that serves your best self. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it?